Alright, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about whether or not going to college is still worth it. I graduated from the University of Virginia with a degree in cognitive science back in 2020, and I can tell you my perspective on what college is so much different than what it was before I went to college and when I was applying back in high school, as well as during college when I was attending classes and applying to jobs, as well as even right after college. Granted, it's only been a few years, and so it's pretty fresh in my memory, and I want to be able to help you guys out there and give you some of the advice that I wish I would have gotten before and during college. I also see a lot of YouTubers out here making videos about whether or not they think college is worth it or talking about college is a scam and all this, but they never went to college. You can't be telling me whether or not you think college is worth it if you've never done it. So I'm going to break up this video into a couple key areas. The first one is just going to be my experience and whether or not I think it was worth it for me in my current situation right now. The second one is going to be whether or not I think college is going to be worth it for you depending on your specific situation. And the last thing is pretty much just advice for you guys if you do end up going to college, some advice on how to do it right and making it worth your money because it is expensive. So, like I said, I went to the University of Virginia, and I'm from Virginia, so that makes it an in-state school for me. Honestly, I could not afford to go out of state, and so I paid about a Corvette amount of money on my college education. It wasn't a Lambo amount of money because I couldn't afford to go out of state. But even though I didn't go to college out of state, and I got the discount rate because it was an in-state school for me, I didn't go into college having a scholarship, and during college, I also didn't get any scholarships. So pretty much I was paying my way through college, and the way I did that was by working pretty much every single part-time job that you can think of. Every semester, I pretty much had a different part-time job where I was working, spending a ton of time outside of classes, just working to make sure that I wasn't going to be in a ton of debt once I graduated college. If you don't believe me, go ahead and just take a look at my LinkedIn, and I will tell you I was the best dishwasher that Kung Fu Tea has ever seen. So everybody knows that part, right? College is expensive, and it's going to keep getting more and more expensive. Now, do I think college is worth it for me? Well, I think it was worth it just because of the people I met and the connections that I made during college, and specifically the internships that I had during college that led me to the job that I have today. Even back when I was in high school, by the time I turned 16, my primary goal was to just get a job and start working so I could start saving up money. I don't really know exactly what was the catalyst for me to start thinking about saving money and doing all this stuff, but it was always a priority for me, and I got my very first job working at the UPS store, selling boxes. I worked a ton of different part-time jobs in high school as well just to save up some money. Naturally, I thought that going to college was to get a job. And I know there's probably a lot of people that think that way, although college is not designed to do exactly that. But I made sure during college that I spent my summers always working an internship that would set me up with the right experience so I'd be able to land a nice paying job when I graduated college and everything was going to be all good. I remember back during my freshman year of college, it was so whack being at the career fair as a freshman because you have no experience, and it's like, how do you get a job when you don't have any experience? It's this infinite loop of something that's impossible to do. But people really appreciate when you take that effort and do something that not many other people are doing. And so putting in that effort really paid off, and I was able to network and meet one of the VPs of engineering at Union Pacific at the time, was able to interview and then get that internship position so that my freshman year summer, I had already worked an engineering internship and I was beginning to build my resume at that point. Now, fast forward to today, all these internships and experiences have led to where I am right now, working as a product manager at IBM. But I'll say that during college, the most fun that I had was during the summers between semesters at school. Not only was it the most fun time, but it was also the most fulfilling because I was working, getting this experience, applying what I learned during the classes during the semester, and getting paid to live and work somewhere to try out a new experience. So whether it was in Omaha, Nebraska, or in Seattle, Washington, or in San Jose in California, I was getting to experience something new, not having to pay to be there like I was at college. Now I think that's enough about me. Let's talk about whether or not college is going to be worth it for you. I would say that for most people, the answer to whether or not college is worth it is going to be yes. College is going to be worth it for most people. Now, it's probably not for the reason that you think. You go to college to learn. You don't go to college to get a job. From all the classes that I took and all the academic things that I did in college, they don't teach you how to get a job or how to set yourself up for success post-graduation. Even the classes that you take, the skills are not going to be directly transferable to a job or a career. They're just things that you do need to know as a foundation for particular careers. Now, obviously, if you do something in academia or you're going to go into medicine, those are directly applicable and those are things that you need to know. They also don't teach you how to invest or save money so that you're not living on the street a few years after college because you realize you don't know how to manage your money. But unfortunately, that's just not what college is intended or designed to do, and that's why you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. Now, when I talk about college is going to be worth it for most people, what I mean is that the degree you get from graduating from a full-time 4-year university is a particular type of pedigree that most careers in corporate America and jobs that you can get working for a company or an institution or some sort of organization are going to require you to have a degree and a particular type or level of education in order to even be eligible. As unfair as it may seem, most places are going to judge you based off of where you went to school, the type of degree that you have, and the numerical GPA that you got when you were at school. Now, I know there's obviously plenty of places that don't do that, but I would say on a large scale, for the most part, the easiest way for an organization to judge whether or not you're going to be a good fit is those metrics that are very easy to capture, and they can give a quick assessment on whether or not you're going to be a good fit for the job. The problem here is that most people in college think that the grades that you get are going to determine the type of job you're going to get and pretty much how valuable you are to these companies or even society as a whole. And that's completely false. I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it again. It's not the grades that you make, it's the hands you shake. So during my first semester at UVA, I literally had a 1.9 GPA. That is not a joke. And there's plenty of people out there that were talking shit and all this stuff like, oh, you know, you have such a low GPA, you're never going to get a job and all this. Lo and behold, here we are today. I would say I definitely have a pretty decent total compensation package. And I've already got 2 properties under my belt when they're still probably living at home with their parents. I would say in general, the idea that college is a scam is pretty unfounded. And it's easy for people to say that have pulled the winning lottery ticket that going to college is useless when all they did was get lucky. I would say that in general, going to college is definitely the safe route. And although it's going to cost quite a bit of money, in general it is worth it to have that pedigree. And if you do want the stable, more low risk career path, getting a college degree is definitely a step in the right direction. Now that being said, it's always useful to keep your head in the right space and stay focused on the bigger picture. What I mean by that is always thinking about what you really want to do or what you want to accomplish and not letting college or anything else get in the way of that. If what you want to do is not work for someone else, or you simply can't afford college, then don't go to college. It simply doesn't make any sense. Pulling out loans for the entirety of a college expense and paying that off for however many years it's going to take working a corporate job or running your own business after the fact does not make it a worthwhile investment. Now, if you're willing to put in the time to work part-time and work over the summers and pay off your college and leave college with little to no debt, then I think it's definitely a good option and a safe bet to make sure that in case your entrepreneurial endeavors don't work out, you can always fall back on a corporate job and do the thing that most people in this life end up doing, which is working for somebody else. Then go ahead, that's no problem. I would say for me in the long run, the idea is not to work for somebody else and to get rid of my W-2 job so I can run my own business or businesses and be self-sustainable. That's something, again, that I did not learn from college, and it's more or less something I've come to realize over time from both the people that I surround myself with, the content that I consume, and the person that I want to be at the end of the day, and strive to never be complacent and realize my absolute full potential. I think if I were to do it all over again, I would still go to college, but I think I would pursue some more of my interests during and even before college, not worrying too much about what other people think. When you're in college or when you're in school in general, you're surrounded by so many people that are mostly doing the same thing. And when you're the person that's doing something that's a little bit different and something that's not down the cookie cutter path, you're likely going to get a lot of negative comments and people doubting you, thinking that what you're doing isn't right. I think during college especially, I listened to a lot of that negativity and I ended up going down somewhat of the cookie cutter path, as well as pursuing some of my passions and interests on the side. Now there's obviously nothing wrong with that, but you need to remember that the people that are doubting you just can't see themselves accomplishing the same thing that you're trying to get, which is why they're putting that negativity on you. If you go to college and you're taking classes, doing the thing, I would just say don't be hesitant to have a side hustle and really get after it no matter what people are telling you. A few years are going to go by, you're going to look back in the past and think to yourself, well, I should have done this or I should have done that. You never want to look back and think that you should have done something that you didn't do. The worst thing you can do is try it out and realize it's not for you, and there's nothing wrong with that, you move on. That also goes for college in general. If you go to college and you realize you're wasting your money, you're wasting your time, and there's something you really want to pursue that makes sense, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm looking at possibly applying to get my MBA one day or getting a law degree at some point, but honestly, I want to make sure that I'm not doing it just because a lot of other people that I know that are in my circles are doing it. The last thing you want to do is get involved with something just because other people are doing it. If you don't care about it, then it's not going to get you towards where you want to be in the long run. I hope this video is of some value to you guys. I know there's a lot of content out there about whether or not college is worth it, and I just wanted to give you guys my 2 cents now that it's been a few years since I graduated college. If you guys have any questions, do leave them in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to answer anything that I can. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.